Guys, I figured it out. That's right. I figured out the secret to make Game of the Year guaranteed. Forget Battlefield 6, forget Expedition 33, none of these jokers, they don't have this. I guarantee it, they don't have this. And you're about to get it for free right here. George Nizer, subscribe. What am I talking about? I'm talking about the Eventbus, everyone. Everyone all aboard the effing Eventbus. I'm not gonna swear. I was gonna, but I won't. What the hell's the Eventbus? I'm gonna show you. What's going on with this? I've got a camera that tracks me. Privacy? Who cares? Apologies for the dramatic introduction, but you know, guys, this is very important. This is a big discovery. It's not really a discovery. This is a concept that's used in software a lot from what I can understand and is likely used in several games. And today I'm going to show you a very basic implementation, sort of explain to you, run you through how you can use an event bus in your game as an alternative to sort of more traditional ways of writing everything in isolated sections. So here it is, guys. This is your event bus. So I'll start us off with explaining what the event bus is. I want you to think of it as literally an event bus. A bus. We've all been on a bus. A bus takes you where you want to go, you, the passenger. The event bus takes events, takes their information from one place to another. But unlike a normal bus in real life, the event bus is a lot more powerful because it runs on a computer. And what can computers do? Not be confined by the physical limitations of our world. That's right. Not even a little bit. Well, that's not true, but you'll see what I mean in concept. The event bus takes events from parts of your game and distributes them to any other part of the game that subscribes to those events. And that is a very powerful paradigm because you can centralize all of the events of your game. You have full visibility, full traceability, and you can even execute functions directly from the event bus. So that centralization is very powerful. It comes with some ups and downs. There's some drawbacks. There are apparently drawbacks on performance. I think for 2D games like what I'm developing, Appleman Sam, check that out, boneheadlabs.org. The 2D game, it's simple enough that the event bus is not going to be a performance impact. But for maybe a bigger 3D game, there's something more to consider. So without further ado, let's dive into the code a little bit. So I've got a very cut down version of the event bus. Check out Bonehead Labs official systems for a far more robust event bus that has lots of error handling functions and all kinds of other assurance functions that ensure that this works correctly in any implementation. But we have a very basic one here. So what are the 3 key functions of the event bus? Well, realistically, there's actually 2 that are important here, your sub and your pub function. So what are these? Well, let's start with the pub function because that is sort of the starting point. You effectively publish an event that can be listened to by other items connecting to the event bus. So what does that mean? Well, if I go to our example enemy script, there's absolutely nothing in here that's usable except for this event bus example. But if the enemy dies, the enemy publishes the event enemy died, and that can also carry with it a payload. So if you go back to the event bus here, the publish parameters, we've got the topic, which is a string name. I'll get into that in just a moment, and the payload, which is a dictionary, because this can be essential. You may need to know what caused that event. You may need to get some information from that event. The payload is the way to deliver it with a dictionary, which gives you type flexibility and effectively a data structure that is abundant. You can put in as many key value pairs as you'd like here as part of that payload. So going back to the enemy, in this case, just an example, there's a ID of the enemy, ID 1. That's not important. It's not actually used. The main thing is we are publishing this event topic. Now, event topics is another key component of the event bus. It's not necessary, but it really helps organize everything. So I'll open up the event topics example thing. Event topics script will act like your Bible of all the events that can take place in your game that you want to track with the event bus. And we're using the string name type. It's sort of, from my understanding, don't quote me too much on this one, it is a more efficient way of calling or referring to a string rather than typing it out like this every single time. I've probably butchered why this is effective, but what I do know is guaranteed a benefit is the data validation this gets you. So if you're using topics from the event topics script, such as these const enemy died, quest progress, quest completed, all you have to do is type in these variables as the events you're subscribing to and the events that you're publishing, and there's no room to accidentally type enemy. You get what I mean? Misspelling, issues that come with strings are completely circumvented by using this string name where these strings are predefined as variables. So event topics is your second auto load. So I'm going to go to the Godot projects settings. So what you'll need to do is get your event bus and event topics, go to your project settings, you want to go to globals and add these as auto loads. These are auto load singletons. They will be loaded and run as soon as your game is running and will continue to run. That is the essential part of how these will function. So once those are done, you can refer to them in any script. Back to the enemy, that explains this here. So your event topics auto load dot enemy died. Simple, referring to that string name variable we have defined. So we are publishing that event via the event bus. Now, the other component of the event bus is the sub, effectively like you're listening for that event. So I hope it's clicking now. It's straightforward in concept. In application, it can get a little bit tricky, but in concept, you effectively have an entity that publishes an event, an enemy. I have died. Everyone listen out. I'm dead. That's unlucky, mate. And you can have several listeners around the game. So let's say, in this case, we have a quest tracker it's effectively tracking how many enemies we've killed, and maybe the player gets a reward or something like that from this happening. So the quest tracker script subscribes to the enemy died event. Simple. Eventbus.sub, pass in the event you're subscribing to, and this is the interesting part here. Your callable is the function you execute once this event occurs. I'm going to repeat that part again. The callable, the second parameter of the eventbus.sub function, is the function you would like to execute once the event you're listening to executes. So that's the important part, because that's where all the actual action happens after the event takes place. So down here is the actual function we're calling on enemy died, and the actual steps taken when this function is called is using the event bus again. But in theory, you could have anything here. It's calling the function when this event happens, and you'll notice. And because this is running through an auto load singleton, we don't need to use Godot's signals. We don't need to use export variables to refer to each of the nodes. We're using the global event bus that sits above everything. You can send events up and listen to events downstream. So it's really abstracts the whole idea of events being processed. So back to the function that calls, when this enemy dies, we are effectively publishing a new event that the quest progress is to increment by 1, because we've killed one enemy. And then once that target is met, we publish the last event, which is quest completed. Hypothetically, you have a quests menu where you have all of the quests that are being tracked that will be listening for quest completed event. And you can get more specific. We have a quest completed here. You can go even more specific, and enemy quest completed will just auto complete that. Thank you, Windsurf, my boy. So that can be a very specific event you're looking out for. So this is very generic. Let's say you have 50 quests. You want specific events, and you can get as many of these as you'd like. You just simply publish and listen for this event. So I hope, as you can hear from my explanation, that it's quite powerful. I'm going to cut over to Appleman Sam a little bit to sort of show this in practice. All right, so
we're in Appleman Sam's very crap main menu at the moment. But if I go into the quests screen, it's showing 0 at the moment. That's actually a bug, but you see we have quests here, three quests, and the progress there. So if I start the game up, so I'm going to kill some enemies and shoot some projectiles. Those were 2 of the quests, and the other one is kill elites. So I'll try and wait for one to appear. So right now, every single time I shoot an enemy and it dies, we're publishing the enemy has died event, and the quest tracker is listening for that event. Very similar to the example. So I've just killed an elite there. Let's just end the run and go to quests. So you see our progress now, 14 out of 100, 52 out of 1,000, and 1 out of 100 for the elite slayer. So great. That's a nice way to centralize it all. We have our quest manager that is listening for all the quests that take place. We can determine what event specifically adds to these quests, publish that event in that part of the code, and listen for that event in the other part of the code that is required to know that that event happened. In this case, our quest tracker. So again, check out Bonehead Labs official systems, where we have an Eventbus folder. It's got a sample event topics. It's got the full Eventbus script that is a bit more robust than the example I showed today. You can just copy and paste that, load it as an auto load into your game, and start making use of the Eventbus today. So thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you later.